We are back. It's your favorite time of the week, in the middle of the week, on these wonderful Wednesdays where you get the Childish Grown Ups show. Here on Childish Grown Ups, I'm trying to work on the monologue a little bit. I'm trying to go off the cuff in my head. So here's how it works for y'all that are new. For those that are not new, y'all know how we do it. But those that are new, here's how it works. It's like your movie theater experience. You like the smell of the popcorn, the smell of the aroma of the theater. You like the taste of the soda tastes different. And what we do on this show is we got a few segments before we get into the featured presentation. So we like to have a little bit of fun with nostalgia and be childish before we have to get into the adult side of reviewing the films. I am one of the hosts, Maurice Hunt III, and I am along with my two wonderful co-hosts, Mia G and Ash Bash. Ladies, how y'all doing?
Doing all right, bro. I'm doing all right.
Me too.
Mia need to go, like, she need to be like an actress or something. It's or she probably needs to hit the stage like one of her favorite pastime things to do. She probably need to hit the stage because it's built in there. But yeah, so we here. It's the Childish Grown Up Show. Hopefully y'all enjoyed our TGIF. We'll be having another one at the end of this month. We got a whole nother format to switch up the tempo one time for y'all. So we'll have another episode of that. Y'all stay tuned in. We're gonna keep tweaking it, keep meeting those needs, and we're open for suggestions. If y'all want us to talk about something television wise of nostalgia, y'all can reach out to us, childishgrownups3@gmail.com, as well as our Instagram page, Childish Grownups. So before we get into our childish grown-up moments, we first got to acknowledge the Stoop kids, and shout out to the Stoop kids for being patient. Kind of got a little technical difficulty last week trying to figure out the situation, but we are here nonetheless. So we're gonna go back a little bit to the Notebook review. We did previously to the TGIF. We got one from Mama C. She says, I try to start my day listening on my way to work because this podcast have me laughing and smiling. The movie The Notebook was playing while hubby and I was celebrating our anniversary out of town, so I did get to watch it, and it is a good watch. What y'all think about that, huh?
Well, I'll have you know that Mama C is right upstairs. Baby.
Oh, that's
Uh,
crazy.
so maybe I'll have her come give a wave. But yeah, I talked to her and she told me that it was on while they were down in past Louisville, Kentucky, doing like a bourbon trail sort of situation, a bourbon getaway. And
I like the sound of
I
that.
got to watch the movie while she was down there. So she was,
With the trail? Oh, this
Yeah,
movie
so
is perfect.
beautiful.
This movie is perfect for a bourbon trail. Oh my God, you could get any better than that. Seriously. Was that her first watch? Do you know?
no,
Oh,
no,
okay.
she had
Okay.
seen it before, but not in a while.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you, Mama C.
Thank
For
you.
that. Yeah. Also, they stay consistent. Mama C and Public Enemy B. He says on our Notebook review, I'm sure y'all looked it up already, but I looked it up because I was curious. And apparently, in the book, the house and the facility are two different places. But in the movie, the house was supposedly renovated into a nursing home / facility.
Don't you love that comment?
Who, me?
Yeah, remember you was selling it, dude.
Nah, I mean, I conceded with y'all. I was like, okay, once I looked at it, I was like, okay, it's not the same.
Yeah,
But
Mama C had a comment about that too.
she was
in
definitely like,
our,
nah.
in our personal conversation. No, she was saying because did you say your birthday like you're a Taurus?
Mm-hmm.
And so is she. So it
That's
was
why.
like,
That's we
he
here.
wasn't gonna, he wasn't gonna let that go because he's a Taurus like me. He was gonna be right, even if he was wrong.
I
I,
like that.
I more so just be wanting to understand it. Like I could be, I'm completely fine with wrong. Like I just be like, you see where I'm coming from? Like yeah, all right, cool. That's not about. But yeah, I don't know. I guess that's interesting. Public Enemy, get back to us. Maybe send us the source material in that, because that is interesting. I guess that may be what kind of drew my eye to why I thought it was the same house, but renovating it again after him actually building it. Well, him renovating it with his father. It's an interesting thing. So, um, mm. Also, we have another one from our TGIF favorite TV couples, Public Enemy B. Funny convo. Definitely agree with the Kyles from My Wife and Kids. They're my number one. Martin and Gina, Jimmy and Hazel was pretty cool on Degrassi. Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv, the Huxtables.
It's like Jimmy and Hazel. Forget about them. It felt like it was short lived though.
It
It
was.
was. It was. And plus, they pump faked this on the Jimmy and I say Emma, Jimmy and
Ash.
no, not Ash. Wow, man, Ash. We see that clip earlier today. Ashley sent me that of Ashley Kerwin, like not sending in the demo. Remember when he started rapping?
Mm-hmm.
That was so crazy on the grass.
You told my boy I took your verse off. Like,
yeah, like bro, they came here for me. Nobody came to see you, Otis. Like, nah, but
it was hot.
Ellie, they teased us about the Jimmy and Ellie. Remember? Because he was starting to paint and getting away from basketball, and they teased us. And remember, he painted it, and she was like Hazel noticed he painted this redhead woman, the girl that looked like her. Yeah, and they teased us about it, but it never happened. But that's always one of those big what ifs, as well as Craig and Ellie, that never happened either. So, but who knows? Maybe y'all get a TGIF. We'll talk about some Degrassi episodes.
I would love that.
Oh yes, I'm still forever. That's forever in my cycle. And I think that is it. Yeah, if I'm correct, I think that is it. So shout out to the Stoop Kids again. Y'all know the handle. It's in the description, and I'll mention it again at the end of this episode. So, childish grown-ups moments this week. A moment that you had to acknowledge that you had been childish in your regular adulting. Ash, I'll throw the ball in your court first. No pun intended.
It's tough. I've been doing a lot of the adulting. I haven't really got time to be childish too much lately.
I know.
But I did watch The Regular Show. Did y'all ever watch that? It's like a cartoon show. It's called The Regular Show.
I've seen it, never watched it, but I've seen clips in passing.
I never heard of it, I don't think.
Yeah, I never heard of it either. It's on Hulu. Anthony was watching it because Tyler introduced him. He said this is something he watched when he was growing up. And so I walked in on Anthony. I'm like, dude, what are you watching? I'm like, are you watching something crazy again? Like some just weird show? He was like, no, this is The Regular Show. And you just so it's called The Regular Show. Like, I'm just not convinced. And he was like, yeah, Tyler told me about it. I was like, oh, okay. So I actually sat down and watched the episode with him. It was really good. It was funny. It's got like a bird and then like a squirrel. They're they're best friends, but they're complete opposite. It's really funny though. I was impressed. And we never heard of this, bro.
Bro, you said when Tyler was growing up, this show can't be that old.
I mean, he's old. No,
that's what I'm saying. Bro, shout out.
Yeah, he said he watched this growing up.
Bro, hold up, bro.
It's a blue jay.
Yeah, I know exactly what they look like. That's what I'm saying.
I feel like I know what you're talking about. Can you put a picture in the chat? Because I think I know, but I don't want to be.
I sure will. I'll grab
but
it
right there. But it was good. I liked it.
Yeah. Okay, and I'm gonna throw that in the chat. And let's see. I still got that brandy stuck in my head.
No, I just did it
yeah, and then it's got the. With the let me see now. When I gotta know, bro.
Okay, yeah.
Tyler didn't grow up on this, bro. This came out in 2010, dog. I knew I wouldn't trip, but bro, this feels like around the Adventure Time, Gumball time, bro. Come on.
He watched this growing up. I don't know.
Fam, I was 20 in 2010, so do the math. Who I was hitting then. Bro.
I mean, my husband's an old man.
Oh man, T. Hey, if you listened to it, dog, come on, bro. That you really are making us feel like you old, bro. Come on, it's too early, bro. It's too early. I'm praying for you, my brother. I'm praying for you.
He's old. But
I
yeah,
love him, man. That's funny. He said grown ups. I was like, bro, I don't think that show was one of them shows back in the day, bro.
but it was good though. I watched 2 episodes. I liked it.
Good, good. I'm trying to think. Hmm. I guess I don't have nothing like it's been a lot of adulting as well, like moving, doing the mundane stuff. I haven't liked the idea of not getting to be childish periodically, so I'm definitely gonna try to be a little more intentional, go out my way to do it. So unfortunately, I probably have to say nothing comes to mind that is out of the regular. I feel like as soon as I get off here, I'm like, oh, but at this very moment, I can say, unfortunately, I haven't had a childish grown up moment this week. What about you, Mia?
Oh man. When I say a lot of adulting has been going on, I mean a lot of adulting has been going on.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had to pick something out, so I've been fasting the past couple of days from maybe like 6:30 a.m., 7 a.m. until 6:30-ish, like right before we got on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm like so hungry throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
So if I go to the store, anything I'm craving, I'll just grab it because I'm like, oh, this is gonna be so good later.
Mm-hmm.
I've been hiding candy bars in my purse and sneaking them up to my room after the kids go to bed so I can eat my candy in peace.
Real nutty professor style. You know what I mean?
What's your go-to candy, Mia?
I like cookies and cream Hershey bars.
Oh
That's my
yes.
favorite.
Hey, listen,
See,
listen, listen. Dude,
it was meant to be.
this always meant to be. Hey, you remember real quick? You remember when those were new?
There.
You remember when those bars were new when they just came out with the cookies and cream? Like we're that old. Like where I remember when like they had the regular. I was like, man, nobody want no chocolate Hershey bar, just
Remember.
chocolate. And then because we like, bro, we'll just get a crunch bar, right? It's like
Mhm.
this. If you just don't do chocolate, give us the crisp. And then they came out with that cookies and cream, and
Mm.
man, till this day, you talk about something that never changed recipe.
Mhm.
If they did, they have mastered it because, bro, it's still as good as it always been.
Life has never been the same.
Oh my god, man, now you gonna mess around,
Dude.
and make me have to go cop some. Like I still be periodically like, it's because see what happened. All the other white chocolate stuff came in the mix to start muffling my taste buds, so I start liking everything. But I'm like, but when I get back to the OG, it's like, yo. All right, that's cool. That's cool. Well, congratulations on your fast, and hopefully you keep on pushing through because that is a huge deal, and I'm a big proponent of that. So that is
Going well
wonderful.
so far. I feel good.
Good, good.
It's awesome.
Yes, it is. All right. Well, you know what time it is, Ash. Go and give it to him.
The mic been out of commission for a little bit, but we trying to be back now. So if you're a YouTube watcher, you see that the light is on. It is time for the Flash with Ash. So again, I got some trivia for y'all and a couple this or that's. Nothing crazy. Again, I got some different world and I got some Seinfeld. This is what y'all like. This is what y'all want. This is what y'all asked me for.
This what you want?
You know? So let's get into it. This is from different world. What famous actor did Whitley have a crush on? Was it Denzel Washington, Blair Underwood, Wesley Snipes, or Eddie Murphy?
They
I
appeared on
know.
the show, didn't they? Did they appear on the show, Mia?
Kinda. Kinda.
Hold on. So the
A clue. He
I
appeared on an outtake.
okay, because he popped up like behind her, right? But damn, who was the dude? It wasn't Wesley. I know it wasn't Wesley. I'm like, Blair Underwood was a character for a moment, for like an episode or two. So Denzel, and who was the fourth one?
Eddie Murphy.
It's Denzel. I'm going Denzel. Denzel.
That's correct.
Definitely Denzel. Denzel.
Oh man, shout out to him popping up on the set like that.
So this would be a cheat code, low key. Like you would just automatically want to choose Denzel. Come on, man.
No, I
But
could. I was around that time. It could have been if Blair Underwood wasn't on there. If I hadn't happened to see that episode, because I'm not like the biggest, like Mia probably bigger into it than I am. But if I hadn't seen him as a character, I would have definitely thought Blair Underwood. Like, but I happened to
Hmm.
see him as a character for episode or two. So
Okay. So this is from Seinfeld. Well, it's really just what was the original name of the series? I have multiple choice, or do you think you can just yeah want it?
I think if you give me the multiple choice, I'm gonna know.
Same.
A sh-
Yeah, go
okay,
for it. Go for it.
a show about nothing, Jerry's Friends, A Day in the Life, and the Seinfeld Chronicles.
Yeah, I know it. You want me? You want me to say?
Know it. I know it. We both know it.
Mhm.
You
Show
want to say
I
about
it?
know it too. Look,
You want to say it at the same time?
yeah.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
A
Seinfeld
show.
Chronicles. Okay, hold on. What were you gonna say, Mia? Go
you
ahead.
said a show about nothing.
About
That
nothing.
okay. I'm sorry, Mia. Ash.
Is the Seinfeld Chronicles.
What?
Yeah, the show about nothing was later like tagged. They didn't even come up with that. It people kept saying it so much because of the pitch episode where he's like a show about nothing. And that became like the slogan after the fact, but like in real time, yeah, it was called the Seinfeld Chronicles, which I'm glad he got away from that because that,
It was
Yeah, no, that's
awful.
terrible.
yeah,
That's
Terrible.
terrible.
yeah, and so yeah, ended up dropping it to Seinfeld, but which is crazy to have that type of last name and it's his real name and it just sounds perfect. I guess
Yeah.
like Frasier, but that's a character. But anyway,
Right.
yeah, I'm sorry, V. I
Seinfeld Chronicles
yeah,
That's
man.
terrible.
so bad.
Well, you should see
So
that first
bad.
season. They only got like 5, 6 episodes the first season. Jerry wearing sweatpants with no pockets. And actually like that first season is an interesting watch because George is like almost smarter than Jerry in the first season. So I feel like they kind of switched it out when they got to the next one. But yeah,
Mhm.
anyway.
Okay. This is from next Friday. What size rims did Day Day have on his car?
uh,
I know.
okay, you go first, man.
They was tens, wasn't they?
I thought they were 20s,
He
maybe.
said they was 20s, but
So
Craig was
he
like,
said they were 20s.
they tens. I keep them clean though.
Yeah, I'm going. I had to go with what Mia said. Then I'm just gonna ride out. Then they 10s.
That is correct. He was like,
Yo,
them 20s, and Craig was like, they nice, but they ain't 20s.
They ain't so
bro,
20.
jumping 10 inches off on the rim is crazy. That is ridiculous. Like they 20s, 10 inches and 20 inches is
Completely different.
nah, but they look like, bro, you tried it so hard on the lie. That's crazy,
Yeah.
dude.
I thought that'd be funny, so I wanted to throw that in there.
That
Shout
is
out to Mike
funny.
Epps, Indiana native. Woo.
Absolutely.
For
All right,
sure.
last one, y'all, and then we get
Yeah.
into it. Just two this or that. We're going actor. Are we going Will Smith or Wesley Snipes?
That's a
I
good
have to
one.
go with Willard.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Willard as well because only because the level of excitement at some point of his career watching movies, like just remember, like, oh, that's like just for example, like a Men in Black. He's not the lead, I guess, but he's like the co-star or the supporting, but just being excited, like, yo, there's Will Smith, or Wild Wild West, yo, there's Will Smith. Like the excitement, I remember that back in the day, like just seeing Will on stuff. Like I never had that excitement, and I love Wesley Snipes, but I never
Mm.
the level of excitement and star power Will had for the longest. I mean, even all the way down to Focus, still was like kind of like what I mean.
We watched that yesterday. Focus.
Yeah, shout out to the Culture Garden and they review that was really fire too.
Mm.
Yeah, why
I'm
Will
gonna
for
go
you?
Will as well.
Yeah, why Will for both of y'all?
Oh man,
The same reason. I mean, you
Same reason, just the level of excitement, the star power. Like it's like, bro.
Will just has that charisma. He's just like he can do funny, he can do action, he can do drama. He just has like
Mhm.
not saying because of course Wesley Snipes was and is a star, but
Absolutely.
Will Smith just had the it factor in a way very few people do.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. He was kind of like a total package, but
Yeah.
Not by far though, because Wesley he does do his thing,
Hmm.
and he brought dark skin on the scene, so
Yeah, for sure.
he represents.
Yeah, he held it
All right,
down.
last one. This we're going singer. It's crazy because we just was singing Brandy. We're going Monica or Brandy.
It's hard.
Oh, I
It,
gotta
it
go.
don't, and it don't gotta be
Yeah,
the
it,
better singer. It's kind of like what's your like? What are you into? You know what I mean?
I gotta go with Brandy
Okay.
I
Why?
gotta. Yeah, why?
because I love Monica, but if I'm going just off of like my vibe and the music that I've more so vibed to over the years, it would be Brandy. She
Yeah, I can
just
see that though. That lines up perfect. Like I can see that whole like eclectic. She was kind of early on that being different wave. I feel like I gotta go Monica, and not just from a vocal standpoint because I do think, in my opinion, I think she sings a little bit better. But I just it's just I feel what Monica be saying a little more. Like I think Brandy be saying some fire stuff. Her lyrics because I love that full moon. Like don't get I will get out of
Mhm.
my skin in the whip. I will go crazy off of that. But that Monica, like what is that song?
Love all over me.
So
Mm.
much. Like when I hear that, I'm like, and she giving all that attitude, Miss Thing on it. Hey,
That
Monica,
was one of my favorite songs
that's
when I
that joint. And sidebar, don't forget, and I know Ash, I want to get yours. I always think too, don't forget when like them franchise boys was like popping. That's like definitely our teenage years when we start out being outside dancing, hitting the chicken head like Mia. Uh, and when she had that rock them biminies every time the beat dropped. Doom, 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 doom. Anyway. Ash.
Kick down your door and smack your chick.
Oh, come on.
Just to let her know, hey, she
Getting
that's big,
off.
right? This
Yeah,
big, but you feel like don't
But
play
I
with her.
believe them. She got them. She
Absolutely.
got them skinny hard knuckles. I said she would lay a chick down. I believe it.
Yeah, she cut like that. I like them both, but I think I'm gonna go with Brandy too. Just
Hmm.
I feel like the replay value. I would like. I'll go to Brandy's music before I go to Monica's.
Fair.
Either way, like I said, I'll pop both in, and of course Monica does have that feel like that love all over me. Woo! But
I feel you.
I gotta go with Brandy though.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, that brandy. Yeah, that brandy is that I want to be down. Just
that's the one.
yeah, she
I just
got
want
the
to do the Bankhead.
yeah, like she just got that bounce with her music that like it just even the Moesha sound song Moesha. So yeah. All right, Ash. That's it?
That's it, man.
All right, man. Another wonderful session, Flash with Ash, man. Y'all love it. Some of y'all's favorite segment that we do from week to week. But now it's time to get into our film. Mia G, go ahead, grab that lever, and take us on back one time for the one time.
All right. We are going back to January 14th, 2005, and we're going to be talking about Coach Carter. Synopsis: controversy surrounds high school basketball coach Ken Carter after he benches his entire team for breaking their academic contract with him. And the cast, we have Samuel L. Jackson as Ken Carter, Coach Carter, Rob Brown as Kenyon Stone, Robert Ricard as Damian Carter, Rick Gonzalez as Timo Cruz, and I'm about to butcher this name.
Oh,
So
the yeah.
Junior Battle was played by Nana. I want to say it's pronounced Bewonyo. It's Nigerian, I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah, definitely, yeah. I seen that too, yeah.
Um, Antoine Tanner as Worm, Channing Tatum, young Channing Tatum,
Mm-hmm.
as Jason Lyle, Ashanti as Kyra or Kira. I can't remember which one it was. Texas Battle as Maddox, Denise Dowse as Principal Garrison, and Debbie Morgan as Tanya.
Okay. No merch, no toys for this film right here.
No toys for Coach Carter.
I feel you, but if y'all want to get a basketball, y'all can go down. Y'all can go to Five Below real quick. You know what I mean? Hey, Five Below, we'll take a sponsorship. Get on the wave early before the numbers start going crazy.
For sure, for sure.
Oh man! All right. Well, Ash, let's go to you first, man. Do a little bit of a rewind. How do you remember this film back then? You know, how does this movie sit in your memory back then? You don't necessarily like the first time, but just how you remembered it, and then how did it? What was your experience like this very time actually having the podcast with it?
I think experience was the same. I think every time I watch this, it never lets me down or changes my view of it in any way. I remember being excited to see it. I typically support anything that Samuel Jackson does, so I was already, with him being the lead, I already knew it was gonna be a banger. And I also liked that it was based on a true story. Those are usually good as well. And it just had a lot of upcoming stars in it. Rick Gonzalez, Channing, Arnez from
Will
101.
forever be Arnez, yeah.
And of course, I mean, y'all know I'm a fan of basketball. So you put basketball and good acting together, and it's a win-win for me. So great movie, solid movie.
Okay. What say you, Mig G? How did you remember this movie before having to actually podcast and watch it this time?
I've always loved this movie. I'm pretty sure this is one that I saw in theaters when it came out.
Mm.
Uh, being 14, you see, ooh, boys. You know,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that's what probably brought me out. But the story, and I've always been a huge fan of based on a true story films as well. That's one of my genres of choice. And Sam Jackson is just one of my all-time favorites. I think he might be everybody, one of everybody's all-time favorites. But I love this movie. I think it has a great message, great pacing. Of course, young actors, they did what they could, but it was good. Good.
Yeah.
It wasn't hard to take notes on. It was actually
Mm-mm.
pretty like, okay, yeah, I can get some good stuff off of this.
Yeah. I remember this. I remember thinking, back then, I imagine we probably seen it in the theater as well. Remember thinking this was a good movie back then and thinking that it felt like urban, cultured, street relevant. And of course, me and Ash always talks about how we used to hoop and we were in high school, and it's ironic because this was like, well, there's a few films that came a little bit before and after, but there is this specific genre that I've noticed, and I'm gonna name a few movies, but that came out that has this similar message being pushed. So I look at Honey in 2003. Yeah, if for those that really watch movies, y'all know what I'm getting at. Freedom Riders that came out in 2007. Gridiron Gang that came out in 2006. Friday Night Lights that came out in 2004. And it's a little stretch, but even Radio that came out in 2003. This was like, it was an effective genre back then.
Mhm.
But the question is, did it age well? And that's what that'd be one of the things we'll kind of look into. But watching it this time, solid. It's crazy because it really toes the line of TV film to movie theater film because it's an MTV movie. So it's very interesting, how they toe the line because there's been TV films, disappearing acts where it's like once you watch it, you realize, oh, this is a TV movie. Like you could totally tell now. So let's get into some. Excuse me. Let's get into some overall discussion about this. So Mia G, how do you feel Samuel L. Jackson did in this role? And obviously, this is being like a clean version of, and so it's not as much necessarily creative license language wise. Obviously, we know Samuel likes to, use certain choice words to reflect to get his emotion out. What did you think about this role of him being this type of character?
I think he did a phenomenal job. He's very believable in every role that he plays. I think there's something about him where he, even though it's him and you know it's him, and he's been in so many movies, he transforms into the character. He's just got a believable quality. He melts into the role and you believe everything he's
Mm-hmm.
saying. It never comes off like he's acting. He is Coach Carter and he
Mm-hmm.
means what he's saying. um, and I think we love a good MF from Sam Jackson, but
Yeah.
I don't think he needs it to get his um intensity to come through. I think he did an amazing job.
Hmm. What about you, Ash?
I mean, one of those believability factor. He just embodies every character that he chooses to be, and he has those eyes. You know what I mean? His voice just capture you, and then
Mm-hmm.
he has the eyes like it just tells the emotion or the passion behind what he's saying. So, and he's just seasoned. You know what I mean? So I think he did great for sure.
Mm. Yeah, I echo those same things, like the eyes for sure, the voice. I mean, even his voice has been lended to, Grand Theft Auto, Vice. I'm about to say Vice
And
City, but
Andreas.
San Andreas. His voice has been on the Boondocks as a white character, which is super hilarious. Super hilarious, bro. He's a white character with Samuel L. Jackson's voice. Him and Charlie Murphy, like
Charlie Murphy.
as the other white dude. Like that's a hilarious. Like I love that. But his voice is being utilized in many places. And then even here, like, man, it's just certain moments, the pacing of how he carries it. It's he's very patient in this role. I mean, he's patient in everything. I think he's an actor, but he's just so patient in moments. Well, what we're gonna do is, or like the frustration, like how he's going through the grading the papers, the frustration, like how he has this and he processes it as Coach Carter. It. I love his patience in this role. Like he really sold me on it. I love the pacing of how he reacts to everything. Nothing was over the top. Nothing was extra extreme. The things he would ask were extreme, but the way he played it wasn't. And we'll get a little bit more into that. But that's like a little bit of a glimpse of how I felt about that. Now, one more person I want to ask. Y'all spend a second here. Um, Ashanti, this is her first role, right?
Good question. I have no idea.
Because I think John Tucker Must Die may have came after, maybe. When did you say this
Yeah,
came out, Mia?
she seemed better than that. Let me see. This came out in 2005. Let me see. John Tucker. Oh, John Tucker was 2006.
Okay.
Yeah, Caucasians. Yeah, she was definitely like, okay. So, Ash, I'll throw the ball in your court first. How do you think that Ashanti did?
I think it was bad. I mean, for, I'll give her some leeway just for who her character was. I mean, she did okay, I guess, but some of it she was over the top for me. You just want to go on and forget about me. Like I don't know. You loved me when it came to that. Like I mean, it was cool. I mean, facts though. But I mean, she did okay. I guess it wasn't that good, but for who she was supposed to play, I'll take it. What about you, Mia?
Listen here. Okay. So I'm not gonna say I'm shooting her some bail only because she's Ashanti and we know she is not an actress. Most of these people in this went to film school. This is what they do. Is she was put in the middle of these actors who've been acting since they were young, doing the work. And the one complaint that I have about her acting was they're supposed to be in Richmond, California, correct?
Correct.
Mhm.
She still sounds like she's from New York, but she's a teenager, and it's just like it's not It's not really giving that, you know. And she was a little bit, a little melodramatic, just, in some of her line delivery. Oh, and don't get me started on that school dancing.
Oh, we gonna get there.
Ooh, girl,
She
if
was,
you don't go somewhere, go sit
Boy, if
down
you
there.
she was getting cooked on the dance floor.
hey,
I'm
hold
like,
on. Hey, listen. Hold on. Wait. Just hold on,
it's
y'all, because we gonna get there. I promise.
hold it down.
Hold it down. Hold it down. Shout out to Smack. Um, nah. You know what? I remember being a teenager thinking like she did horrible. Watching it this time, I actually didn't think it was that bad. Honestly, it's crazy saying that, but I watch. I say, it's, and I think the fact that it's high school is why, because there's this, crazy as it is, there's so many personalities in high school. We can go back to even ATL when we look at Nunu. Like she's been putting on the extra ghetto, putting on the extra attitude, and we find out she's a fraud. But still, even if she was still being that way, it's still believable because in high school, that's what people do. You finesse and try to like get off whoever you're trying to be. So Paris Morgan is like, you tell me who your friends are, and I tell you who you want to be. Man, one of my favorite movies. I don't know. There's a few movies, man, I done, and I'm gonna have to double back on the Childish Grown Ups. I'm gonna keep it a bean. But this time watching it, I honestly didn't feel Ashanti did that bad. Honestly, I think that a lot of the actors here, nobody necessarily did an excellent job that were newcomers. I think everybody knew the assignment, and I think that they did well enough. But I don't think anybody did like so far, like personally, that they did such a standout job that it made her look like crazy. But that was me. That's my opinion. Especially for this to be like her first role, I'm like, I didn't feel like it was that crazy. Maybe she would have been better in Save the Last Dance.
Who would she have played though? Like who would you?
Maybe like
She
the
would
girl that like I'm out, she all up in your nut, like I'm about to crack this. You know what I mean? Like that, like she could have
make it.
maybe, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like she could have,
DM.
yeah, like she could have been what, I don't remember her name. She always looked young and everything, but she
Bianca
could,
Lawson.
yeah. Shout out to her. But like maybe Ashanti could have played that role, kind of like extra attitude, extra, maybe that could have been a good, that's off the freestyle or whatever. But I got a couple more things in the overall discussion, man. I'm definitely laying a whole lot out here. What did y'all feel about the basketball choreography? We've talked about loving basketball on here and kind of the choreography a little bit. What did y'all think about the choreography in this movie for the basketball scenes?
It was real good. I like to look for stunt doubles. Like that'd be my first thing. I'm like, let me see who really is a hooper and who they subbing out. But I didn't see too many like Arnaz. I think he was really
Oh,
hooping.
I absolutely was.
And Worm, Kenyon, like I didn't really see too many stunt doubles from the angles, from what I saw, like it looked like they really, and shout out to the cameramen
Yeah.
because to shoot a basketball game,
Mm-hmm.
like bruh, they did their thing. So it looked real to me.
Mm-hmm.
So
What about you, Mia?
Now, I'm no expert, like I said last
Yeah,
time,
right.
but I thought it was beautiful. Um, I love anything where you kind of have to learn a skill if or you can tell that there may be some like there was one particular scene and it wasn't the last game that they played, but it was the one they won some sort of tournament or championship like
Oh,
a
right before the pool party.
right. And there was a scene where it was Robert Ricard or Arnez, and he was
Mm.
going up for that game-winning, tie-breaking shot, and it was like you could see that he was really
Yeah. Like the
like,
the play unfolded and they had to switch it because uh
yeah.
yeah. I forgot who was supposed to be open, but he couldn't pass it. So like you're saying, like yeah.
It was Kenyon, I believe.
Oh yeah.
And like, yeah, he was, and he like told him like it's not there. You have to go up for it. And you could like it was slow motion, but you could see it was like he was really
Into it.
playing the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is good.
Yeah. Excellent choreography. I think that we will have a different conversation about where this film would be kind of ranked or looked at, value wise in long term. But I think that is one of the things that holds this movie up really well is the basketball scenes and the choreography. Everything feels real. It feels that because there's other basketball films where, and I'll speak a little bit more about, we'll call him Arnaz. Obviously he's not Arnaz, but Arnaz is Arnaz. Carlton is Carlton. Some people you can't get away from. You're stuck, bro. Like it's Hillary is Hillary, So, but but yeah, a couple more. Ash, what is one of your deepest fears?
Oh my gosh. You really asked me that?
Uh huh. I just said one of them. You don't have to go to the top of the list.
I know. A deep fear of mine. Probably heights. I'm not really a height girl. Like I
Mm,
can do a certain level, but when like jumping out of an airplane or anything like that, no. Or walking across a little cliff when I watch Survivor and stuff like that, when they do all that extra
mm-hmm.
extreme heights. I
Yeah.
guess I could say that extreme heights.
Mm.
You won't catch me out there.
What about you, Meg G?
Oh, okay. Being trapped or like small confined spaces. I'm very claustrophobic to the point of anxiety attack. And probably why like I wouldn't go on like a cruise. I might go on a cruise if it's like one that stops every day, but I don't like the idea of, and this is why even though I do fly, I don't like flying.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that I'm on this plane and I can't get off whenever I want to. Like I
Mm-hmm.
like being trapped.
Mm-hmm. Fair. One of my deepest fears is, it's just like leaving the earth in like an unclosured way.
Mm.
Like you look at the old people that are in the hospital and stuff, and family come to visit. You like, oh, that's ideal. It's ideal. Okay, people come see. Hey, they got a couple of days left. This and that. Like that's ideal for me. But like to have that possibility, which it is a possibility, that you could leave with being unclosured, where you're like, oh, you was just coming home one day, or oh, you was just oh, I just talked to them the other day, like that unclosure for the people that are still here.
Mhm.
That for me is like one of my deepest fears. It's like because I'm a completionist. Like anything I start, I love. I gotta finish, and I feel I get really uncomfortable. Not uncomfortable. I get disheartened. I guess maybe is a better term for it when I can't finish something I start, and so I'm very cognizant about if I'm going to start something or not. So yeah, just that unclosure for people on my way out. Like I'm Lord willing, that is not my my demise, but that's just one of my deepest fears. Um, and I had one more. Well, I guess I'll ask this. This is just a little. Was somebody about to say something? I thought I didn't want to interrupt. Okay. All right, one more. They laid quite a foundation on Ken Carter, being as good as he was with his name in the banners for 70, 71, and 72. How a lot of his teammates' fates went. He spoke about that. Will y'all be down with the Coach Carter prequel?
I'm not always here for the prequels, or like I like a lot of them, but a lot sometimes I just want them to leave it alone. I would be here for that if
Huh.
they were to really stick to the story the way that it was told and the way he told it and not change anything from what was already given to us. I think it could be done.
Mm,
But they would have to get a really good actor who could play a young Sam Jackson, who could pick up on his mannerisms, but not try to be a caricature of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to Many Saints of Newark. They definitely did caricatures of the Sopranos. Ash, what you think?
Girl, Mia, if it has to be a great actor. That's gonna be the first thing I say. If it's can be somebody, it gotta be somebody solid. I mean, I think it's possible. Would I be looking forward to it? I can't say that, but I would watch it, you know, but I
Mm,
wouldn't be like excited for it.
mm. It's hard to be excited in general for movies, anyways. I feel like in this era,
Not
uh,
for me. Depends on who's in it.
I hardly get excited, bro, because everything is so predictable. So there's a lot of reasons, but let me speak. Let me take it back and let me speak for myself. It's hard for me to get excited for films
We're
these
gonna have to
days.
have a talk about this
Okay,
later.
and we can. Hey, I'm down. But as far as a Coach Carter prequel, absolutely. I would love to see Ken Carter in the '70s. What the '70s look like. You got people, drug dealers. You got people on your team. You got that jive turkeys. You got afros, and you got a different style again. I like to see him get busy because he had to. Obviously the record before his son got the record at the end. So I would be down for it. I think it could totally work. Seeing the community, it's just built around that in the '70s. Like I would love to see that. Be very enjoyable. I think it could be like like I'm like, do I want to go Netflix original? Do I want to go Peacock? Eh. But it's not something I will go theater. I definitely will probably go straight to streaming, maybe like uh Beverly Hills Cop 4. Put the promo there, but like yeah, so and maybe just call it Carter. So I
Work.
think I think it worked. They laid a great foundation. All right, so let's get into y'all know we switched our format here. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna lay out some of my plots, and y'all tell me where y'all want to go first. So I got it like this. I got Kira and Kenyon as a plot. I got the parents, Coach Carter, the players, which obviously the individual players, them as a team, and that's it. So the team as a whole, the players, Coach Carter, the parents, Kira, and Kenyon. Yeah, I got any other plot lines outside of those that
I'm pretty
I,
aligned. Um, I'm pretty aligned with you, but I do have Timo Cruz on here too.
well, I do. I got him like as far as players, I got sub categories under individual players.
Oh, okay. So I got Coach Carter, Kenyon, Kira, Cruz, the parents, and the principal,
That's great.
and like the final game, kind of. So
The game. Okay. What about you, Mia?
the only like I have all those points and I'm great with all those. The only thing, I don't know if you had it like under what like as a subcategory would be the contract and the lockout.
Okay. So I may have that with under Coach Carter.
Okay.
All right. So do y'all want to work y'all way to least important to most important, or what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
All right. So off rip, what do y'all consider the least important? With the parents?
Mhm. Uh, my opinion may differ, and this is something we'll get to in a later category, but
Yeah.
Stone and Kira.
Can, you talking about Kenyon and Kira?
Yeah, Kenyon and Kira.
Okay. Oh, you feel like that? Okay. Yeah, let's start there then. Are you cool with that? Ash?
yeah, I'm cool with it.
So okay, so we'll start there and let's just work through the players, like kind of their profile, their plots. Let's just do like that.
Hmm.
All right. So with that, since you led with that, here's something. So where do you want to start, Mia, and then we'll all kind of jump in with a note that we had after we kind of respond to what you had as far as a note when it comes to Kira and Kenyon.
So I feel like go into this. We'll talk a lot about Kenyon and then maybe we could go into the other players.
Absolutely.
Okay. The reason why I wanted to talk about this is I kind of have mixed feelings about the whole teenage pregnancy plot in the first place, like being a part of his story, a part of the story. Like I get that it happens and it's a thing. I've seen it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I don't want to say it bothered me the way it was handled, but something about it just didn't quite go there for me. I don't know if
Mm.
it was her acting. I don't know if it was the lack of guidance that they had. They didn't talk to any adults about it. Didn't seem like there was any, like, he seemed to have a good head on his shoulders as far as how he was really, seeing the bigger picture of what life could be like if they had a baby and she was just kind of like had the small town mentality, like I'm just, this is my boyfriend, I love him, we're gonna have a baby together. And but that whole, like, the whole plot seemed like unnecessary to me, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Ash, what you think? What you think about that? Because I think Mia G, I know where you're getting at, and I'm definitely gonna respond because I felt the same, some of the same feelings that you felt.
I think you made some great points. Now that you I didn't even think about it the way you were mentioning it, but it probably could have been left out. Like she didn't have to be, because it wasn't like he was like, I gotta go to college now because my girl's pregnant. You know what I mean? It wasn't really tied in like that. So I don't think that necessarily was a motivating factor, especially since he was, every chance he got was expressing that he's not ready. We're not ready. We don't even have jobs. Like, I'm just trying to play basketball and graduate. You know what I mean? So it probably could have, they probably could have left it out. It didn't really correlate well. And like you said, where were the adults? Like, there was no guidance anywhere. It'd be different if maybe Kenyon got close to Coach Carter, kind of told him about it. You know, that could have been like
Mm.
a
Mhm.
someone he could lean on. Um,
Yeah, that's pretty. That's good.
so yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I think that I think I know what they were trying to do. They were trying to show Kenyon struggle. You know, they didn't necessarily make us feel that Kenyon didn't have a father in his life, or his mother was too hard on him, or he was street, like maybe like a Lyle or like a Timo, or even Worm. Like so I think that they're trying to show. They try to give him a challenge where it's like, oh, he has a 3.3, but he's a smart kid. But when it comes to getting intimate with his girlfriend, they're not taking all the right precautions. So I understood where they were going with it, but it was handled, and I don't think it was necessarily an acting choice. I think that it was, they didn't write well for her.
Mm.
So either they didn't write well for her, or she couldn't execute the lines, and so they just made it more minimal. I have, again, no insider information. This is just my opinion, because everything Kenyon said was super, like, on the money. But every time it came to time for her, it's like she needed more lines because she felt like an intelligent young lady as well, a high school woman. Like, she, like, what are you gonna do when this happens? What are you going? She felt smart too, but the lines weren't there. And then to tie it into what we're talking about with that, when you bring her friends into the loop, that part as well felt too casual. And especially it's the stage is early enough where she hasn't, I don't know how far along she is, but she hasn't started showing. It's still at the stage where you can make that decision if you want to go elsewhere. And so it's just kind of like super casual about it. And then it's like all of a sudden we get the bomb dropped on us, like, oh nah, I changed my mind. I don't know, it was way too casual, and this is like a huge deal. I don't know. I don't know what I'm getting at. I'm with you, Mia. It's like I don't know how to say it, but it didn't. I don't know. It just felt like some, like, filler. I guess maybe that's what it is.
It didn't curl all the way over. Like I never felt there was no emotional involvement in that story. I was like, okay, like it wasn't. I don't know.
It
I,
didn't really. Like
What you say, Ash?
I said, it didn't draw you in. It didn't make you feel like maybe they can make it, or I don't know. It just wasn't there
Yeah,
emotionally.
yeah. It 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 almost would have served better if we just did like the high school sweetheart thing. Like on some like he's about to be big, he's about to, he's going to college, you gonna leave me behind. Like that could be the, more of the focus. It could be almost, it could even be on some like maybe Kenyon got some decent parents and like he don't approve of her because she from a different side of the, on some like drumline where Nick Cannon and I don't remember what old girl name, what I mean, but Zoe Zaldana or whatever. Like it could be something like one of the parents don't approve of whatever, what I mean. Like it could have been something like that more so than the pregnancy. I get the pregnancy. It ain't much to do out there. These dudes are like relatively close to the streets. We see in the condition in which they are when we first meet them. But yeah, it definitely was like they started off and it felt like they just did not commit to it. Like mid writing, they was like, okay, this is not gonna work. Let's just drop it off and focus on he's going to college and keep them together. Like I feel like they didn't commit in the middle of writing that.
Last thing I'll say about it, because it just doesn't need that much more. Um, I also feel like even though it was somewhat realistic in its depiction of teenage relationships when there isn't a lot of parental supervision.
Mm-hmm.
They acted like they think they're grown. She's buying thongs from the 99-cent store and,
Okay, all right.
you know, you know, babysitting while he's over there and they're just being teenagers. But I think that they handled it so flippantly
Mm-hmm.
that it almost was like, yes, it's realistic, but we still should be kind of maybe importing a little bit of a message of maybe you shouldn't be doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you should be scared that your mom's gonna come. Like I get that it wasn't necessarily to deter kids from having sex because that's just what teenagers do. But
Yeah.
it was almost like an afterthought, the fact that they were even this intimately involved at this young age. Like there was no, because I have an issue anyway with, and I know what happens where people meet their high school sweetheart and they're together forever, but I have a little bit of, I always have a side eye for these doe-eyed puppy love relationships and it being like the end all be all for
Mm-hmm.
like now you want her to come to college with you, boy, focus.
It's tricky. It's not impossible. It is tricky. It is tricky. I know what you mean though. I know somebody personally where I think because you never seen elsewhere, you've always known this one thing, this one individual, and now you start to see later down in the marriage, in the relationship, where you could tell your behavior is showcasing that you are curious, and not always just curious, like, oh, I'm sending coochie to the mail. You know what I mean? But more on the sense of on some Aisha Curry. Like I want to see what it feels like to be desired or looked at a different way outside of what I'm familiar with. This is all I've known because of the high school sweetheart or college sweet. That stuff exists. So I know exactly what you're saying. Ash, is there some other things that you want to note when it comes to Kira and Kenyon?
Yeah, I had them come individually, but we kind of summed it up. I just said for Kenyon, he, like you said, he had his head on his shoulders. He had dreams for himself, and he struggled with the idea of having a baby. He was more concerned and how he would be able to handle all the pressure while going to college and trying to make something of himself. But I also didn't like how he was kind of handling Kira
Yeah.
because it takes two to tango, and So I found myself getting a little irritated this time with him because, bro, again, she was in La La Land to me. She was very excited for having the baby, she didn't have a care in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like how he was just like, he was all over her, like what she shouldn't be doing. And like, she bought the shoes and he like, you don't even know if it's a baby yet. And she like, dude, I took the test 3 times. Like, he just looking for any way out, really. But
For
y'all
sure.
are in a relationship, so it wasn't like this was just some random girl that you knocked up. So I
Mm-hmm.
think I would have liked him to handle her with a little more care. Again, she was in La La Land, but y'all both laid down and did what y'all did. So I don't like how it felt like he was just kind of isolating himself sometimes. I didn't like that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the parts that I didn't like with him as far as that goes is like he's asking her, "What are you going to do about this?" and "What are you going to do about that?" It's
Yeah, that's the part.
like bro, you act like he act like she got them in that situation. That's why I'm with you. Like, and that's typical high school boy behavior, typical man behavior. Unfortunately, where it's like you act like, which is ridiculous. Like, bro, you're the concluding factor. Like, bro, you could have shot elsewhere, but you shot right here in the gym. So, and then you get this like, oh, this can happen. I was with you. I'm with you on that ass. Like, I didn't like how he act. Like, what are you supposed? Because like now you're using this, trying to make a compelling point to say, let's go elsewhere in our decision.
Hmm.
It's a real thing. Obviously, the immaturity is there on both ends. Like La La Land for her, and just him just being overly pressed. But yeah. All right. So let's get into some more players. So let's go. I think let's go. We'll go Timo. I think there's the most to say about Timo Cruz. Ash, I know how much you really, really rock with our guy. Shout out to him for being an arrow. What you got to say about Timo Cruz? What's some things you want to get into when it comes to him? Uh-oh. Is this the hair? Okay. Yeah, I figured.
Hey, to Rick Gonzalez, that's my guy. Illegal tender, like I'm way back. I love him and his hair.
Come
I
on
love
now.
him.
Legal tender.
Yeah, what you know about it? I'm telling you, man. Um, but yeah, Timo, he was struggling. Um, you could tell he wanted to be a kid, right? And but he was also in the streets with his cousin that had a reputation. But he was still attending school. He was the biggest hater. Once he tried to take his little swing at Coach Carter, and he's like, "It's a wrap." They win their first game, and he's like, "Man, that was the wackest game I've ever seen." Like, dude, what's going on with you? Like, these are your guys, and you like throwing salt on them. So clearly, you could tell he was jealous, and he really wanted to be in there. But I felt for him. He was struggling. Like, I would have liked to have a little more backstory for Timo Cruz to kind of see how he ended up in the streets with his cousin. Like, did something happen to his parents and his cousin took him in, trying to put some money in his pocket. I would have liked a little more backstory to kind of see. And he wasn't even a senior too. Like, I don't know, maybe I thought he was like a older, he was one of the older ones, but he wasn't even a senior. So I'm like, dang, he was whatever he was doing all that stuff and still trying to be in school. But um, yeah, Timo, he was struggling. He was battling, and I think he did a tremendous job at it. Had a tear jerker for me at the very end.
Mhm.
But yeah, shout out to Rick Gonzalez, man.
What about you, Mia? What would you like to bring to the forefront when it comes to Timo?
Oh man, what a complex character. I love Rick Gonzalez, but he had a few of those moments where I'm like, this isn't supposed to be funny, but it's kind of funny. Um, that scene where they're all outside right before his cousin Rennie gets killed and the guys are hassling his friends, his teammates, and he shows him he has a gun, and like his voice just cracks me up every time.
You feel me?
Right here, homie.
I'm
Like,
right
oh.
here on the block.
But no, I think his character development and his arc overall was my favorite
Yeah.
because you see how tough and how hard he is and how much he wants to prove to himself. He's not scared of anybody. He's not scared of anything. He's tough. He doesn't need anything. But the first thing you see him do is commit to running all those suicides, commit to all those push-ups to try to get back on the team. And he was really there trying to get it done, so much so that his teammates, who he always gives such a hard time, were willing to help him in the end when he didn't quite make it. And then you see how he was still himself, but he wasn't necessarily as, you could see the teenage, goofy, silly girl crazy in the rest of the team, but he was kind of just seemed like he had to grow up a little faster. He had a
Mhm.
little bit more of a quietness in those moments, in opposed to moments where he looked like or he felt like he needed to be tough.
Mhm.
That's when you really saw him come out. So after his cousin died and he goes back to Coach Carter to ask to get back on the team, is you see that child like, okay, this is just a kid. He's just a baby. You know, he needs a hug, some
Mhm.
guidance,
Mhm.
someone to tell him it's okay to let just be. And I feel like he found basketball, like in Coach Carter, to be like a safe space for him where he hadn't really had one before. And that's why that moment I think Ash is talking about where he did the Mandela speech, which I actually had to learn that speech in the ninth grade. And
Mm.
um I've always been so proud of that. Every time I watch this movie, I'm like, I know where this is from
That's
because I had to
fire.
learn it. And for him to go out of his way when Coach Carter is constantly asking him, "What is your deepest fear?" They don't know, but he had to take the time to look that up and find out, why does he keep asking me this? Where does this come from? To learn the speech and then recite it to him was just such a great character moment to show you how far he came. It was just that will get me every time. I'll be
Yeah, yeah.
a little ugly cry.
Oh yeah. Timo Cruz, man. Obviously he's by far has the most depth out of all of the players. They tried really hard with Kenyon, but it wasn't there, as we've spoke previously. Timo Cruz, like she said, there's just moments when he's like, making an exchange with his cousin, and his cousin just realized like there's an emptiness in him. He's watching his team. They got their first win, and they in like the little diner, and they happy, and that's what he want to be on. That's what he really wants. And when he finally decides he wants to play again, I feel like his team never seen him work so hard for something. They always seem like he a talker. Similar to like Naaman from The Wire. Like he's like a talker all the time. Like he talking, he always just flexing, whatever. He can shoot a jump shot, but whatever. He don't do nothing else. But when they seen how hard he was working, and like, bruh, he did some miraculous things based on what Coach Carter said, but it still wasn't enough. And the fact that they got in, this is so reminiscent because I was a part of an organization in college of I always call it like I ain't gonna say low budget, but like it's not quite a fraternity, but it's kind of like a fraternity, but without, it's not Greek. Let's put it that way. And when we first started, we were all a bunch of strangers. All of us brothers, we were strangers. And anybody that got cut, we'd be like, well, Nick, you ain't make it. All right, whatever. But by the time we got 30 days, 40 days into being online with each other, you cut one of us, you cut all of us. And I remember we did a tug of war match. This one was at Hell Week. We was at the end, and it was like, H3, you captain over here, and they was like, Ryan, you captain over here. They had all of the strong dudes. We had all of the not strong dudes, maybe witty, clever dudes. And obviously they beat us. They're like, all right, that's it, H3, you out, you gone. I was so mad, man. We was in a cathedral, and we was down in the basement. I walked out of there. I said, man, forget this organization, man. I was so hot. Like, bro, I didn't say forget. I said other words. But I'm like, man, forget this organization. I'm going to start my own organization, man. Y'all think y'all could do this to me? You think you could do this to me, Jake? So I walked out, and I'm mad. I'm about to walk back to my dorm, man. I got the same stinky T-shirt on that we all been having to wear the whole weekend. And before I know it, next thing you know, one brother walks out. Another brother walks out. The next you know, it's like 8 of us out there. It's like, man, forget them, man. If they don't want you, man, we ain't staying with them. We starting our own organization. And then before you know it, like all of them start walking out. It's like, hey, all y'all come back. Y'all come back. Just like Coach Carter, now he realized, okay, now they're getting the message. And that's what happened with us. They're like, oh, now you can't cut none of us no more. It's all of us or none of us. And that's what I love about the Timo Cruz coming back and working this hard. So when he came back to Coach Carter after Rennie died, man, it was again definitely tear jerk. It was tough because he didn't. I could tell like he didn't have a lot of love. You know, it wasn't a lot of love there. We don't really hear nothing about his mom or like women in his life, or he even like being on like pursuing women like that. You know, it was always brotherhood for him. So like Coach Carter, like, I do whatever you want. And it's like he needed that, you know, and Coach Carter just having the right observation on him in that moment is like, hey, just come on in. So I loved it. It was so much for him, you know, and man. And then also one more thing about that, when they lost Rennie, Junior was there. And I thought it was interesting. They didn't elaborate on it, but we find out that Junior Battle had lost his brother to the streets. And I thought that was just like a little subtle thing that I found like that could really have been triggering for Junior Battle. So, but yeah. I know, and obviously, like he was like the first one out where like he tried to challenge Coach Carter, and Coach Carter let him know what time it was. I'm definitely like that type of like I worked at a school system, and I definitely would be that type of dude. Like I would definitely put you in I would definitely put you in the chicken wing. When I see it, every time I say it, I would definitely do. I'm not a teacher. Like, listen to me. I don't play with kids.
And he needed that. He
He needed
needed that
that.
show of authority because
Yeah.
it's like to show like, no,
Because he told
you're
I
not.
will lay your ass out. Like, oh, really? All right. All right. So let's get into Damian Carter.
Great.
Ash, Mia, one of y'all, who wants to go first? And when we're talking about Damian.
Come on, Ash.
Well, we ain't hear you.
That's right. Nez.
Ned, yeah.
Arnez.
My bad. Um, I don't have too much on him. It was just the excitement he had play for his dad. You know, that was huge for him. Like the fact that you did a release form yourself to get you out of a previous school to work for. I mean, you know, to get transferred is insane. Like I could never imagine doing that. You come home to your mom like, "Hey, ma, I ain't going here no more." What?
Excuse me.
You'd be right on the bus the next day to the same school. But but yeah, just I didn't have him on my notes really, so but yeah, just that he wanted to play for his dad, you know, it shows the dynamic that they had and how much he respected him as a coach. You know, not only just as his father, but you know, just him as a coach. So I think it was solid. And then of course he was very smart. And then you come to this school where they may not be as smart and you know, like education is clearly not the main focus at this school. So now you're coming and but you hoop, you know what I mean? You like the nerdy guy, but you play ball.
Mm-hmm.
And you play ball well.
Yeah.
So now you coming over here with the street guys and the upperclassmen. You a freshman at that. And I like how he didn't change who he was
Mm-hmm.
just because he was getting, hazed and all that. He still was true to him. Obviously, I mean, he got drunk at the party, but everybody gotta
But
have that
he's
moment.
a freshman.
He's a
He's a
freshman,
And I
ninth
man.
don't
grader.
even think I don't even think he knew he was getting drunk because he said, "I don't." You saw a
Yeah,
Lotto pouring liquor into the Mountain Dew bottle, giving it to him. He probably thought he was just drinking.
Yeah, he's like, I'm
yeah,
just feeling good all of a sudden. Like, and we on the high. We just got a champion.
yeah. Um, and that's a tough spot to be in, even for just like him and Kenyon, like the people that are making the grades and doing all the things the contract is asking for at the time. But you still running suicides for crews, and even when they had the lockout, you in the library trying to, be one of the teachers, try to help them, the people that are struggling. So I think Damien was cool. He was solid, and he was a hooper, man. So yeah.
Yeah, he was. Anything you want to add to that, Mia?
I had a few things on Damien. Mostly what Ash said, yeah, he was a very strong-willed kid, but you can kind of see that he gets that from his father. We don't hear much about his mother. His dad has a girlfriend who you can tell they're close just off of conversations that Coach Carter had with Tanya. But he seems to have a great head on his shoulders, even from wanting just to play for his dad. You see, he reveres his dad. He has an immense amount of respect for his dad. They're probably best friends. And he's kind of the one who reins his dad in. Anytime his dad is getting really frustrated or upset or something's happening, he's like, calm down, dad. It's okay. It's good. He just seems like a very good kid, like the epitome of a good kid. He's like, I don't drink. He's not quick to be influenced. Like Ash said, he was still very true to himself and ended up just being accepted for who he was. He grew up in the neighborhood. They lived in the neighborhood, but he went to a better school because apparently you can tell his dad wanted better for him
Mm-hmm.
because he grew up there. Um, but he was, and the scene where Timo Cruz comes to the house after Rennie is killed and you see the look on Damien's face, it's kind of that moment where you really see how much of a different life he lives than the
Yeah,
rest of his team because he
yeah,
just looks like he's in complete shock. And he's
yeah.
like,
Absolutely.
and it's like he was the outlier, but he still fits so well. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's a testament to his father being both from the neighborhood, but also teaching him to rise above, but never quite like you're not better than them. You can have better because I'll provide it for you, but you're not better. You're going to earn every bit. You were late to practice, you going to run too. Like,
Facts. Your first day of school.
exactly. If you want to be here, you're going to have to be here. And when we're here, this is what it is. And I think that Damien is a testament to good parenting.
Yeah, yeah. A household with a mother and a father. Yeah, I said everything that needs to be said. I just say as far as Arnez. Uh, yeah, he's Arnez. um, you could tell that to me, it felt like he really worked hard on whoever was the trainer for basketball. Like, because I mean, obviously, people come in and like get their coordination and everything, train them similar to Sanaa Lathan at Love and Basketball. You could tell, he was trained because the way he hoops, he overdoes it when he's hooping. And normally that would I think it bothered me back then, but it didn't bother me as much now watching how he hoop because he's like overly dribbling. Oh, it's like we used to hoop, so you could tell like people that hoop, like there's a certain finesse within the, you know what I mean? But like him, he's like overly, dribbling, overly posted up, overly everything. But it works because there really are point guards like in college and in the NBA that play like that, where they're just overly assertive. You're like, bro, relax. Put your shoulders down a little bit, bro. Let your knees bend a little bit, dog. For real. So that was like, it used to bother me watching this movie. It didn't bother me as much this time. I felt it, he seems like an overly thinker. So it fit his game a lot more when I really watched it at this big age. So I got some things I want to say in a later segment about Damien, but it doesn't fit this part of it. I only have one more other player here. I only got Junior Battle left. Do y'all got Lyle or Worm?
I had a little something about Lyle. I didn't really have too much about Worm, but I mean, if you wanted to talk about him, I got some stuff I could say.
I ain't got nothing with Worm, but I love Worm though.
Yeah, Worm is one of those characters that's really fun to watch, but there's not really much to
Yeah.
say. He was funny, a little comedic relief.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Worm could have played T on the Parkers?
You say what?
Do you think Worm could have played T on the Parkers?
He could. It'd be a different version. It'd probably be a better version, to be honest. This actor, I'm always upset that he never got more roles because he commands the screen every time.
Yeah.
I wonder what happened to dude. I gotta find an interview or something.
Worm was a little shit, but he was funny.
Yeah, your big black ass dome. Like he wasn't bald.
He got on my nerves so bad, but like in the most like he's like such an annoying teenager. I could
Yeah,
He said,
obnoxious,
so what you do, Buffett?
bro.
No, the funny part talk about we thought it was bad. We knew your dumb ass was failing science. Now the whole world gonna know your
You're
Hey,
bald in high school, bro.
that's crazy. Like that is. Hey, your boy from Loving Basketball. I mean, not Loving Basketball. From Say Last Dance, he was bald too.
Yeah, but Malachi was really like not in school for real. Like
He should have been
he
out 2
was,
years prior.
yeah, he was a grown man.
He was already 20.
guy had
A
just got
grown
out.
man with a pelly pail.
Yeah, for real though. You like milk and oil. It don't mix. Anyway, we'll get there at some point. What, Meg? Did you talked about that, didn't you?
Huh?
That was you and
Yes,
all
me in
right, yeah.
school.
Y'all go check that out. School's Guilty Pleasure on the Culture Garden feed. Meg G. School. They talked about Save the Last Dance. Y'all go check that out. Got to plug that. That was fire. I remember listening to that. But anyway, what were you gonna say?
You want to talk briefly about Lyle? The only thing I really had was, ooh, to be a Caucasian amongst the and there are always a few. He was cool. He was
Yeah.
cool. I think this was my introduction to Channing Tatum. I think this was the first thing I ever saw him in.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just kind of rose to stardom the way young, handsome men tend to rise to fame. And it was the whole, he had a, this was the start of that Channing Tatum. The Channing Tatum from, was it Step Up that he was
Step
in,
Up. Yep.
where he's the cool white boy from the wrong side of the tracks. But he kind of held it, like he held it in this movie.
Yeah, he absolutely did.
He held it.
I believed him.
Lyle, he was just like the smooth, cute boy who didn't go to class. His dad was in jail, but he wasn't really in the streets. He just wasn't necessarily motivated to learn.
Yeah. He was definitely hollering at, in our era, he was hollering at the sisters.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
For
one
sure.
of the sisters was considerate.
Few of them.
Yeah. They were definitely like, I don't know, girl. He never really. He kind of cute though.
Bye, Mo.
Because I've been around it. I've been friends with dudes in class. I'm like, dude is really putting on right now, but they digging it for real. But anyway.
But no, that's all I really had about him. He was cute. I liked him.
I think he was fatherless.
Yeah, his dad was in jail. I think his uncle was
Oh,
the one
Angel, yeah,
who
yeah.
spoke at the town hall meeting. And yeah, good
Yeah,
character, good part of the team. Not too
yeah,
much, but a good part of the ensemble.
yeah. I was glad he was in it. That was my first introduction to it. Anything you got to add about Lyle Ash? You got
No, I'm
anything with
saying
Junior Battle Ash?
I don't.
Hmm. It's not a lot for me. I'll say that just that he struggles to read, and we find out that he hasn't been going to class. He gets confronted about it and decides to quit the team. Um, yeah, I really got nothing about Junior Battle. They tried to kind of create this thing when the mom comes through at the Carter shop, but
Shout
I
out to Octavia Spencer, who persevered and got her big roles later in life. I love her
just
down because
amazing
she has so many small roles in movies like
for
this
sure. You never thought she was gonna.
until she got that big break as an older woman, and I just really love her.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. Shout out to her. Like you wouldn't. Who seen that coming? Anything else y'all want to talk about as far as the team goes?
Yeah, I did have like the initial team dynamic.
Yeah, get whatever you want to bring to the forefront. Go for it.
Yeah. So the initial team dynamic where they were arguing with each other, they weren't in sync. They had a bunch of egos and they just weren't disciplined. You know, you can tell that the current coach was worn out and just didn't have any control over them anymore, or if he ever had control. And you could just sense that they had issues outside of school, and they were just so angry. So just to see how they started and how they ended up, I just wanted to touch on that before, we get to, of course, Kent Carter. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say about the team.
All I'll add is that, yeah, what Ash said, and they just needed the strong male figure. You could tell they just needed somebody who wasn't scared of them, wasn't gonna let them run over, and who really gave a damn, about not only basketball, but them as kids and their future.
Mm-hmm.
And and I think that is really the whole point, you know. But that's it for me and the team. I got a few
Okay.
things to say about their parents, but I know that Mo had probably a few things to say about the team as well.
Okay. So I got the parents left, Ken Carter, and the principal really. But
I kind of had the principal kind of grouped in with the parents' conversation.
okay, okay.
It was kind of in that same vein.
True, true.
Yeah, I just thought the only thing I got as far as team goes, like, bro, it is crazy work going to your opponents. Like the girls that go to the school of the opponents that you won, and they all happen to be Caucasian, and majority of you are black, and y'all go there. Crazy, bro. Like you could have really end up with cases if this was a different movie and they wanted a different rating. For sure, they would have got Worm locked up.
Oh
That's
yeah.
Worm would have been locked up, and everybody else would probably have some kind of ticket or who knows. Like they would have been trying to get them to freak up out of here. But
Hmm.
yeah, I just thought I said, bro, that is crazy to do that. It's like it wasn't that wasn't realistic at all. Even in the 2000s, bro.
Oh, that would have been a different movie altogether.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. But I mean, the rating obviously kept it where it was. But I think they were kind of almost going to allude to something because the way the parents dealt with Coach Carter, I think you're in the wrong place. Like how they like kind of dealt with him, seemed like they were going somewhere and
Yeah,
kind
because
of
he said Richmond. You must be lost. Like, yeah, you already. I ain't like how he said that.
Yeah, that's why I was like, okay, they were going to go somewhere, but they kind of left it there, because they're like, okay, we're focusing on these issues.
Hmm.
Uh,
And lucky Coach Carter got there at the same time as the parents, because it probably would have been a little police call had he
Hmm.
mhm.
not been there to collect them when the
All it takes is one of them to change their mind. Okay. Well, y'all want to get into what we got? The parents.
Yes, I'm ready to talk about the parents.
All right, well, lead us off, me G.
So, first things first, it is insane to me that all of the parents would fight so hard against someone wanting their children to excel academically. I remember my mom was I don't care what they say, if them grades ain't right, you can't cheer, you can't do no, not until you get them grades together. And it was just with the amount of like vitriol that they had for him. On one side, I feel like the parents were except with the exception of Junior's mom, the parents were kind of an afterthought. Half the time you didn't know whose parent was whose until like the very end we saw who Kenyon's mom was, but we did see her interacting with Coach Carter calling him a snake. But
Miss me.
don't. What did she say,
He
Ash?
said, "Don't miss me."
Snake. But it was just
Wildin'.
he locked the gym because your children did not honor this contract that you signed to, that you should have been helping them. Like, you ain't asking, do they have homework? You're not asking. And I don't care what grade your child is in. To me, I feel like you should always be invested until they're out
Mhm.
of high school and out of your house. You need to be invested. And so I feel like the fact that they would go as far as to people are breaking his windows,
Yep.
spitting on him,
Mm-hmm.
getting in his face, trying to get him fired for locking the gym. And nobody is talking to these boys about the fact that they're failing. Like, where's the energy
They
being
gave
played?
up.
And I feel like the same goes for Principal Garrison.
Mm-hmm.
You mad at him, but as the principal, you lucky you got a job, ma'am, with these failing ass kids. Get it together.
Damn. What's up,
Um,
Ash?
I mean, yeah, just hit it on the nose, really. Um, I had kind of the same, just that the fact that parents were thinking Coach Carter was out of his mind for these minimal requirements. I mean, now I will say, okay, asking for weekly progress reports from the teacher, now that's a bit of a stretch from the coach, for me. But so that part, I'm like, all right, bro, you kind of overstepping a little bit. But yeah, like the parents got on my nerves. And like Mia said, so much of a pushback because he wants them to have options to strive for just more than the bare minimum. Like you should want that. These are your children. Like he's just the coach. He work at the school. Like y'all have birthed these kids, and like he said, I mean, if they can't follow the simple rules of a basketball contract, how long you think before they breaking laws? So it was
Mm.
just like, dude, that message right there
Yeah.
alone should have been enough for y'all to be like, dang, let me take a step back. And then same thing with the principal. She got on my last nerve. She just didn't care.
She played a different tune at the
She
end.
was, yeah, but by then I'm like, girl, bye. And she was just a paper pusher pretty much at this point. Like, everybody just in automation. So
Yeah.
then somebody fresh comes in
Yep.
who has, who believes in who he's coaching and wants to uplift and from the
New
community.
ideas. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, man, they all can take that L. So
Yeah, I'm with y'all. Like it is crazy to think that, but it makes sense, but the part that I love the most is like when they're having this first initial meeting and they're like they only need a 2.0, but it's like well 2.3 gets them,
Hmm.
they can get a lesser score on the ACTs. So he knows what he's dealing with. And then one of the dads just says, how are we gonna afford a jacket and a tie? And he tells him like, bro, there's a Goodwill down the block. He said, bro, it's like for 50 cents. I'm like, bro, he's telling keeping the bean. And then one bomb was like, oh, I'm not going no Goodwill. It's like, okay, wait a minute. Is it too expensive or too cheap? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, what's your issue? Like, you say they can't do it, but you can get. I love that he's like he's doing well, but yet he's still very aware of what's going on. Like the parents try to make an excuse, but I'm like, I'm not laying out things that are unreasonable. Now there's some unreasonableness about Coach Carter. We'll get there, but I think the contract was very reasonable because he cared about something nobody else did in that community. And I think that the principal just made peace with like, and that's everybody kind of goes through a phase like that where it's like you try so hard, and after a while, when you kind of realize nobody else cares, you just don't care because it takes so much energy to keep caring. It's unfortunate, but that's the human experience in most scenarios, not all scenarios. Um, but yeah, and then of course, like Junior Battle's mom comes and tells him the whole thing. I'm not saying you should take him back, but let me tell you what happened to his brother. And then of course he was like, I need to hear that from him. And he comes in and he apologizes and takes him back. And so that being said, I think we get into our last focus point, which is Coach Carter.
Mm-hmm.
So going from that scene of Junior Battle's mom coming in and then Coach Carter doing that as well as what he did for Timo Cruz. Coach Carter even had to learn something because Timo Cruz was the one that spoke up when they were on the bus after they left the little, pool party or whatever. He's like, man, you told us to be winners. That's what we did. Ain't that enough? And Coach Carter had that look on his face where he was like, damn, I don't want y'all being drunk. Y'all are my high school players, but at the same time, I probably was on that in the 70s. You know what I mean? Like I probably was on something similar to that, just celebrating, having a good time. And it's like, dang, I'm about to, because he was about to go even harder on them on what, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, bro, we just went undefeated. We just won this little regional championship, and now you about to go harder on us. He's like, oh, you ain't seen nothing yet. It's like, damn.
You
And
know
so,
what?
yeah.
I saw that a little bit differently.
Uh-oh.
What?
Go ahead.
Just a little, just a little.
Okay.
Okay. And I only say this because of the cutaway scene right after the bus was him looking at the progress reports. What I took that to mean was Coach Carter realized in that moment that he was so focused on them winning games that he hadn't paid attention to what else he was teaching them. Like, yeah, I'm teaching them to win basketball, but am I teaching them anything else about how to be respectable men, how to like maybe I've lost sight of the goal here. And I think that's why after that he took the time to go look at those progress reports because they had what 16 games undefeated and he hadn't looked at them yet.
No, no,
So
no, no,
he
no.
looked at them.
That ain't how it went. So before that, Coach Carter had told them when they were like doing the whole braggadocio thing during the game. And this is definitely one of Ash's favorite scenes. That next practice where he was like, oh man, you see that play? I wrote up that play. Like, you see that? Man, that play was nice. Run it again. He's like, oh, my shoes is tied. Thank you, brother. Yeah, I tied them shoes. I did that shit. He's making a point. So he was trying to teach them like it's winning not enough where you have to embarrass. So he was teaching them life stuff. The progress reports hadn't come in, but remember prior, the team said, "Oh, coach, we good. Like the grades is already there." So it wasn't that he wasn't looking at them; it's that they hadn't come in yet because the teachers hadn't complied because they was on the same energy as the principal. What's up, Ash?
Just
So
throw in feeling it.
I was saying that like because I thought about that point too,
Okay.
but I just hadn't I guess I hadn't thought about like how long had he had them before that? Like, did he just get them when he got back? Because it felt like to me when Timo Cruz said, "Isn't this what you wanted? You wanted winners. We're winners." I felt like in that moment, the thought would have been, "Well, damn, have I taught them that winning isn't the only goal?" Like, shit. Because
Hmm.
I did
Like,
tell them to be winners. But that doesn't mean you could be little assholes.
mm, yeah, I don't feel like he did. I feel like he did the best that he could. Um, like what I'm saying, when they were bragging, yeah, he said, y'all won 4 games last year. 4. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, the audacity of y'all to be acting like that after a couple wins. And then again, yeah, the teachers were just not complying. So it's like I feel like he had just got those progress reports because they're looking at this dude like, bro, you're a coach. I'm not giving you these. So maybe he just pressed it so much to the principal where they finally were like, all right, send these over. And then yeah, he get back. It's looking bad out there.
Because he had checked it. Remember, he had checked his mailbox and seen nothing was in there previously.
Mm,
When we go back to what you're saying, me, as far as on the bus, his reaction, I think that there comes this point. There's this real time realization. Well, I've worked at a school, so there's this real time realization where like there's a lot of things you think about how you were and how you would be, but then there's a realization. It's like, oh, I'm older now. It's like, okay, I hadn't calculated this point, and I think at that point, in my opinion, when he's looking at it, and Timo Cruz says that, and he closed his eyes when he told him to open his eyes, I think that it registered to Coach Carter, where it's like, okay, I guess I was so focused on turning this system around. I was so focused on, because I mean, again, he came and they were like fighting each other in the locker room when they first started. So I think that he was so focused on that, and finally they got there, and he said, "Bro, ain't that what you wanted? We're winners. We're in unison. We're doing what you're asking us to do, at least on the sports side. Before obviously we get the big reveal." I think that Coach Carter realized, like, well, they are doing what I asked, and he's still basing it on Lyle was the one to say, "Man, Coach, our grades is good." You know what I mean? So he's thinking like, okay, well, we're gonna see. We'll see. But they said it's good, so we're good. Maybe I do need to fall back. I'm about to give them more drills, and they just won. They just got a trophy, and I'm gonna give them more drills. So let me fall back because this is because being a player and a coach is totally two different things. And so him having to embrace the maturation of, oh, let me chill out a little bit. I felt like that's what it was like. Okay, let me chill out a little bit. Like I still didn't like the fact that I was drunk. I still didn't, but I was once your age and I did obnoxious things. Maybe not to that degree, but I done obnoxious. That's the way I received it. Now when he get there and he sees that, he's like, no, no, like then we go into another lane of like his reaction. Like, oh, y'all ain't running, y'all ain't doing suicides, y'all not doing push-ups. This is totally different, you know. Um, so what do you think about this? Like Coach Carter takes the extremity of locking the gym, forfeiting the game, which really ruins their record. They don't make a big deal about it because they forfeit it. But what do you make of that, Miji?
I think sometimes points have to be proven. You signed a contract, you didn't uphold your end of the contract, so you have to suffer the consequences of your actions or lack thereof. Um, I feel like the reaction was, yeah, of course, everybody wants to have a perfect season, but what are we teaching them if we don't teach them that there are consequences, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because, well, I don't know what else he was supposed to do
Yeah.
until you guys can meet the requirements that you were supposed to have been met. No, you can't play. That was the deal.
Teaching
Now
them to be
y'all are
men of their
doing
word.
good, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You think that that's supposed to change the contract we had? No, it doesn't change the contract just because y'all are doing good
Mm-hmm.
at the sport. Y'all were supposed to be upholding this contract. I
They
think it taught them a valuable lesson.
they treated the contract like a rubric. But the teacher give you a rubric and tell you decided how your parents decided, like, bro, I'm not ironing all these things in a rubric.
What are those?
Right, what are those? Um, but what else do you want to say about Coach Carter? Like, Ash, was he too extreme in his methods as far as putting the chain on the door, forfeiting games? Was he too extreme in how many push-ups and suicides he would have them to do? Or was this all fitting to get them, just this whole thing,
Hmm. I think he was extreme, but I think it was necessary because they were so far gone. Nobody believed in them. Like you said, half the time the dads are not in the home or single parent home. Like it was just a lot going on outside of school. And so that just played a part in their, school journey. So I think it was extreme, but I think it was necessary. They needed something drastic because nobody's holding them accountable.
Mhm.
And one thing about Ken Carter, like he wasn't going for none of that.
Mhm.
Um, he was obviously a well-known guy, respected, played for the team, lived in the neighborhood,
Mhm.
and he brought the structure and the discipline that they needed. And like Nia said, there's consequences to things when you do something, or if you don't honor something that you signed, then this is what can happen. So, and you can tell that it reached them because even after they cut the chain off, they still was like in there in the desk. So they 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 appreciated him that much, and it was just sinking in. So I mean, shout out to Ken Carter, man. And like I said, with it being based on a true story, like he sound like a phenomenal man.
Mhm.
Not only just a coach, but just the man that he is, and how he raised his son. So, but them suicides, boy, they stayed on the baseline, didn't they? Now that right there, I was like, oh nah.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
yeah.
yeah. That. Just to conclude a little bit on what you're saying, like standing on business to the degree that, like, if you guys vote to have them still play, you don't have to worry about firing me because I'm going to leave, pretty much. Because this man is like, he makes that quote. I have it written here somewhere, but that the quote that you know, you guys are focused on them playing ball games, and I can't even remember the quote, but it's when he was getting his stuff out of the parking lot, and the principal came out there after the verdict has been set, and he made some quote like, I can't support
He
that
said,
message.
winning basketball games is more important than seeing these boys go to college. And I'm sorry, I can't support that message.
Yeah, and that thank you, Ash, and that right there was his whole. That's his plight. That's his purpose. And he's like, bro, I'm not playing. Like, I mean what I'm saying, which obviously he made the principal believe it because he started, because sometimes you need somebody to restore your hope. Like, you can get into like, you could be if you're at a church, a small church, old church, you could be there. It's like, all right, we just do the same thing. Something. You need a few people that spark that freshness, or you could be at a job, everybody's done it the same way. You could be the new worker that's like, you got some fresh ideas that can really make the department really, whatever it is, or even the family, like, okay, we need to create some new traditions. No, the older people not doing it. I got fresh ideas. I got fresh concepts. Let's do this on Thanksgiving. You need that burst, and Coach Carter was that burst, and I think the principal realized, like, it awakened something in her, was like, that's why she didn't vote against him in that moment. But now when that happened, it really resonates. But of course it affected the boys, where they're like, bro, they can't make us play, because now they're starting to see the bigger picture. It's like, bro, we are more than ball players. We want to go to college. We want to get out of our situation. And it's just beautiful. Like,
Mhm.
God, it was just beautiful. Any concluding thoughts on Coach Carter? as a character. Mia G. Anything else you want to add to that?
Phenomenal character, phenomenally acted by Sam Jackson.
Yes.
Um, he was truly a star in the film, and I have no notes.
Yeah. Ash. Any concluding thoughts? No concluding thoughts from me. Shout out to Sam Jackson. All right. Well, before we get out of here, Ash, character you relate to or identify with the most in this film, Coach Carter.
Gotta go with Coach Carter. As far as trying to see the good and potential in people, despite the odds that they're up against, or even if they don't necessarily believe in themselves. I'm just a naturally positive person, and I always try to see the good in people. And even if they don't, I try to uplift. I would say I pride myself on that. That's just how I am. So I think Coach Carter for me.
Mm, nice. What about you, Mia G?
This was tough because I'm not as stern as Coach Carter, but in the same way that Ash related, I feel like I can relate
Okay.
only because I always see so much potential in people, especially young people. When I because I have little sisters, and then anytime like I have a friend who has little sisters or little cousins, I always want them to strive for so much more. I feel like if anything, I tell them all the time, I'm not telling you what I think, I'm telling you what I know. And it's
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like it's so important to impart wisdom on the youth and anybody really, anybody who doesn't have it, each one teach one. That is so important to me to uplift and push people to be a little bit better. Not necessarily in a forceful way like Coach Carter did in this, but I feel like his goal was truly to uplift those boys and make them better. And that's an important piece of my life is wanting people around me to be better.
No doubt. For me, Kenyon. Not so much like high school pregnancy, but like the way he was. I have a lot of how I was in high school is very similar to him. His thinking, he definitely had his head on straight. He was very logical, but at the same time, he was very ignorant. Very ignorant in some of his things because he was just immature and he was a high schooler. That's high school boys for you. Like he's gonna have some things that you don't have the depth and the understanding and wisdom yet. You ain't lived enough life. But yet he still asked great questions. He had an understanding. Now I didn't have no 3.3. That definitely wasn't wasn't my high school experience, but there were some other things outside of that that I related to just mentality wise. Like Kenyon, I felt like it's crazy. Like his archetype is the same archetype that I was, pretty much. Like that's what I'm getting at. Even the fact that even down to him being dark skinned, like all that even that there too. So um get the stepping. Ash, what character do you think you could have done without?
Definitely the principal for me.
Oh.
Yeah, she got on my nerves. Like, sh- I just really the principal and the parents, but I'll leave the parents and just say the principal. She was just on autopilot and just, I mean, she just didn't even give a damn, really. And I know, like you said, I mean, you just you start going through the motions, but I mean, you're the principal, bro. Like, some of the stuff she was saying in the movie, like, for most of them, this would be the highlight of their lives. Like, it just was like, bro, you're trash. So, yeah.
Those statistics were wild though. Like she had some really good statistics though.
Yeah, but these are
But
terrible statistics. That's the point.
they're real statistics
I
though.
know, but let's try
Yeah,
to change
right,
them.
exactly. For her to not be trying to
Yeah.
What if you've
So
been trying to change it for 10 years?
Then you
gotta
need to
keep.
retire.
We need new leadership. New leadership
Under new management.
under construction.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not. No. Oh, that's good, Ash. What?
Yeah.
Oh, what about you, Big G? Who could get to stepping?
I said Kira.
Mm.
I just, girl, okay. Like we could have had a plot with what was that boy's name? We could have had
Kenyon.
we could have had Kenyon and his mom and his younger sibling be the thing, him trying to keep his younger sibling out of trouble. It could have been literally anything else. Because the problem with the movies today, or there always has to be a love story. No, there doesn't. We don't need that. Like,
This movie definitely don't need it.
we didn't need it. Like, okay, no, we don't need that. He could have had literally any other conflict. It was unnecessary.
Yeah. For me, get to stepping it's like close between the old coach and Coach Carter's wife.
That was his girlfriend.
His girlfriend. That's not Damien's mom.
Mm-mm.
Okay, then she got to go. I did not know that. She got to go. That's his girlfriend. What the all right.
It's my girl now.
Man, if you don't all right. Boy, if you don't get your I ain't gonna even go all the way. The fact that that's his girlfriend, not his wife, that's enough, bro. And that's not even his mom. Not to say it don't play out like that. It happens all the time in relationships, but like all this extra supportiveness, like you taking $1,000 from coaching, and then you got the Coach Carter apparel store or whatever. I don't know how well that's doing in this era. Come on, bro. So yeah, she can get the stepping. But the old coach, he's neck and neck. But the old coach can work in the sense of if we green light the prequel.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this may or may not fit. Do you have a favorite song in the movie, or if not, it is what it is. And there might be one that's obvious.
I think. Wait, no, because I'll be wrong. What's I'll be just real loud and wrong sometimes. So, what is the obvious choice? Because mine might be completely different.
Well, the song I like is more than the one I think is like the obvious choice, but
Which
the
is what?
obvious choice would be Hope.
Oh, so yeah, I was.
That would obviously that wasn't like my favorite from this, but that's like the right answer. You know what I mean? Like because of what it produced on the internet later.
Man, listen. Oh, the funniest. Oh, that was gold.
Yes.
That was internet gold.
Yes. It spawned all off this movie, bro. Like that, like for those that are not clued in, this movie doing the title, putting the subtitles under the freeze screen of what was the results of the future of the players, that became a meme and a big meme in a real big way in the era that we are in currently. And they used the song Hope with Twister featuring Faith Evans. So it's a synonymous thing with this film. And so like that's why I said, well, oh, that's the right answer. Now I tried to look up the song that was my favorite, but I could not find it. But what did you have, me? If that's not
Wasn't that Anthony Hamilton coming from where I'm from?
okay, now that's fine. I forgot about that.
I think
Coming
that's
from
got to
where I'm
be it for me.
Oh, I
Coming from
forgot about that. Oh, I love that song.
I love me.
I love Anthony Hamilton though.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Anthony Hamilton is like the antithesis to John Legend. Like he's the gutter. Like John Legend is like buttery and like clean and pop. And Anthony Hamilton is like the soul food, greens, cabbage, cornbread. Anyway, Ash, what's your favorite song? Was it Hope? Hope for you. The song I had was when Coach Carter was really thinking about stuff, and I don't know what they were trying to rhyme words. It was like a poetry type of song. I don't know what the song was. I couldn't find it, but that was that. But I'll go with Hope since I couldn't
Oh,
find
I
it.
know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they were like rhyming one word, like yeah,
Determination.
that's anticipation and preparation, like that. But it was good though. It reminded me of You Got Served when they was doing like the take
Dancing in the
away
rain.
my anxiety. Yeah. That see yeah. All right. Ash, things you would change about the movie or what you think they didn't get right.
Wouldn't change nothing about the movie. I mean, other than
It's
the
crazy.
Ashanti thing, maybe.
The
But
pregnancy
other,
story.
yeah, we could leave that out. But other than that, I'm good.
Me, G.
Like I said, the whole Kira thing could have gone somewhere. And I really wish they would have had at least one parent stand up and be on his side, you know,
That's fair.
at least one. Like, I see what you're trying to do and I'm behind you, but he ain't having no support other than those three teachers and the students. Like, um, and the principal in the end. But I just really just wish they would have had one more parent show some support, but other than that, for what it is, it's a great film.
All right, I got a few things.
Oh Lord.
Of course.
Damien withdrew from school. You can't do that. You are like 15 years old. You're a freshman. Come on.
14.
14, 15, arguably, depending on what it is. You can't do that. That they didn't get that right. Another thing, he said practice starts at 3:00. If you're there at 2:55, you're late. What high school ends at what? 2:30?
Mine did.
Okay, that's unfamiliar to me. Like
7 a.m. to 2:30.
okay, that's very unfamiliar to me. But okay, that's fine. Adrian Baylon is trying too hard. and she tends to do this in most of her acting roles. LaQuisha, come on, dog.
The only place that worked was for the Cheetah Girls, and that's because the
That
Cheetah
I was cool with that. I was
Girls
cool
were
with the Cheetah
over
Girl vibe.
exaggerated. But yeah, she just
I
it's a
liked her.
little
I
bit.
liked her in That's So Raven.
Was she in that
She was a
already?
bully. She was a bully in there. Remember?
Oh, okay, yeah,
But it fit like because it's a sitcom. But
right.
like,
She has that overacting Disney
yeah, that
teenage
very.
thing, but in this type of movie, you
She
right.
trying too hard to be down. Like that's what I'm like. Listen, Ma, I get it. You're Puerto Rican, Hispanic. What'd you say, Ash?
Yeah, when she was like, she said dog or something like that. When she's like, I forget what she said to Kenyon on the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
bench. It was
yeah.
something crazy.
That's what I'm saying. But like, you're overselling to be down. That's how you really know you're not down. Because when you're down, you know what's up. Um, and then my last thing is the number of push-ups and suicides was just too far out there. I believe like it's too hard to believe they got done. Like the minute you do something wrong, 500 push-ups. I'm sorry, bro. Like even when I was online for BMI, shout out to my brothers. Like, bro, when they tell you like, hey, you owe me, the craziest number might be like 50, 60 straight. Like saying you got 500 push-ups is ridiculous. Like it say, oh, you got 500 suicides. You got to run 4 laps to make one suicide. It's just to me, it's unbelievable that this got done.
Mhm.
I feel like they should have worked on and then maybe that's the exact number that the real Coach Carter had. But if it's not, I should have came up with a more realistic number because I'm like, there's no freaking way that's gonna ever get done. Like every time I hear it, I'm like, oh, you're going for 1,000. Nobody's gonna ever do 1,000 suicide. Mig G, you ever ran a suicide before?
I have.
Okay. Ash, you ran a suicide before?
Of course.
All right. So y'all know 1,000. Anyway, I don't even, I'm not gonna make this episode any longer than it needs to be. So that they didn't get that. That it just felt unrealistic. Like saying like, oh, you got 150 of them. Oh, okay, damn, that's crazy. Oh, you want to make it? You want to make it 300? Then it'd be like, oh, okay, this real. It's hard, but it's realistic. You start saying 500 at the gate, then 1,000. All right, bro. So those are the 4 things that I felt. But I say 3 things because me and G definitely cleared up some things. Speaking of me and G, what's the moral of the story in your opinion?
So I went back and forth with myself about this too. And what I landed on was these kids need guidance. Kids need guidance. They need someone to actually care. It can make all the difference in the outcome of their lives. Just having one person care can change the course of somebody's life. And that was it for me.
Okay. Ash.
That was so good. The importance of discipline. You have to work hard and be consistent in anything that you put your efforts into and give yourself a fighting chance. Again, even when the odds are against you, because not everybody's going to like you, you know, but you can't give up on yourself too. And just give yourself options and hold yourself accountable. That accountability portion of it and the discipline, like, it really resonated. So, yeah.
The board made their message loud and clear. Winning basketball games is more important than graduating and going to college, and I can't support that message. The moral of the story for me is standing on business. I stand on business. I stand on it. Coach Carter standing on business. Like you ain't gotta fire me, bro. I'm out. Because bro, that resonates in my soul. I'm an extremist to that degree with a lot of stuff. Ash knows me well enough to know that. Like, I'm an extremist. Like there's a point in time that like I'll draw a line and bro, you will not move me from this. When this is where I stand morally, stand in my soul, you cannot move me from here, bro. And he's like, bro, I will not do this because I believe more in what these kids opportunities can be if y'all trust what I'm doing. If y'all don't trust that and y'all say, oh, let them play basketball games, even though they got F's, even though they got all these blood streak markers all over their paperwork, y'all want to still play? Okay, I'm out. So standing on business, like I love that. Like I've been that person, like, oh, okay, well, I'm out. Not because I'm being rebellious, but because I can't stand on what y'all saying. So I love that. So that's the moral of the story for me. And that is our episode, y'all. But before we get out of here, of course, we give our reveal to the next episode. That's the interesting what we do in this podcast. A lot of podcasts don't do that. And not only that, but we don't communicate with one another about what the film is that we're going to do next. So without further ado, we're in our March Madness month. Ash kicked it off with a nice, really good film, Coach Carter. And now we're on Mia G. So without further ado, Mia G, this is your time.
I'm really curious to see if this is one of the ones you were guessing.
I'll tell you.
But we're going to go back to 2001, starring a young, bald Mekhi Phifer. And we're going to do O based off
Oh,
of
no. Oh, my. Yo, I did not see that coming.
Oh,
whoa.
my goodness.
Yo, you just blew my mind right there. Whoa. Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. Yo, Mia G is full of surprises. I thought I was full of surprises, but Mike, Ash, bro, the 2 I had, I'll say this because I'm not picking these. I said hardball because that was spoken of. And I said in my mind, remember the Titans. I
No.
can't believe you went with you blew my mind. Damn. Ash, what you got to say, bro? Golly.
I would have never guessed.
Never.
Um, and it's funny because this is a movie that me and bro talk about. Like, I'll click on it because I love Makai, and then he'll be like, and say, "Why are you clicking on that to get mad? Like,
Oh my
you know you
gosh.
finna get pissed off."
Yes.
But it's like you don't have too many movies where Makai is a leading role like
I
that, and
know,
so
I
that's why I
know.
want to watch it. But I know I'm finna be so mad.
Oh
Oh,
man.
burns me up. I'm so excited.
And then it's based off of Othello, the classic writing.
Yeah,
Um,
man,
wow.
she threw a curveball.
Real quick, what made you pick that film before we get into it next week?
So this is one of those deep cuts that I love so much. It's the modern take on this Shakespearean theme. I feel like it was done so well. It's so dark and it makes you just viscerally angry to know, to be like behind the curtain and know what's going on and he doesn't know, but you're like, oh my God, this is making me so mad. But it's so well done. I love anything to do with mind games, like in a movie, like seeing someone play the chessboard and move pieces like like chess pieces, or like a puppet master, if you will. And even though he's like a horrible, like the we all know the character I'm talking about, a horrible, horrible character, just seeing the way things play out is just so fascinating to me. I just really, really like this. And I love me some Julia Stiles, but
Mm-hmm.
I love Mekhi Phifer. I think I love a modern take on classic literature too.
This is
So
not talked about. I haven't seen this review anywhere.
yeah, and I think that too, like we haven't really seen anybody talking about it. And when you said March Madness, I thought basketball. And I'm like, what's
Mm,
something that I can stay on my
I think we're
dark
going
twisted
trips on
theme?
basketball. I left that out there, but
When I
that
like I was like, I have to stay with my dark twisted
that's perfect though.
theme.
That fits
But this
perfect for you. I'm glad you
was
picked
this
that.
and this stood out in my mind as soon as
Real quick, I
I
want to
Coach
ask you
Carter. I was like, ooh, I got it. I
real
got one.
quick, real quick. Would y'all like the opportunity to not be like, because see, I get the opportunity every time to piggyback or bounce off of y'all ideas. Would y'all like it in a month to change the order to be able to bounce off of, like, not being first or second or however it goes?
I'm
This
down for whatever. If you want to switch it up after
Well, I
every,
just out of curiosity, like, would that be like, okay, cool? Like, I say if it's you, me, and you say, oh, I'm third this time. I go first. The Ash, like, okay, bro went this way. I get a chance to kind of figure out where I want to go, and then you be like, oh, cool, both of them picked this. And now I know I'm gonna go super left, or I'm gonna go right in the pocket. I don't know because I get the benefit off of that, but I want if it's something y'all would be into, like, yo, I would like to benefit off y'all two, whoever the two is, got to pick first. Now I can take it another way, because Ash always got to lead it. But like, would
yeah,
that be something y'all would be interested in?
I would love to. We could switch it up after every TGIF and switch the order.
Oh wow. Okay. What do you think, Ash?
Agree. It's hard going for sometimes.
Yo, but you
So
but you've
like,
been killing it
Yeah.
because you're the movies you people that are listening, Ash has had the highest average as far as the movies she's picked. So the first has been working really well for you, which is funny because when we used to make music, you always had a great intro
whoa,
verse.
whoa,
Hey,
hold
y'all
it
can go
down.
check it out. Y'all can go find her music though. Hey
Drop it
Tyler.
in the group chat.
Hey, listen.
Oh no.
Oh, don't worry. I got you. I got you. It's over with, Ash. It's over with. Like you,
You better not. You better not.
don't worry. I got her number separate. You don't got to be in the chat, bro. I'll hit me and G on the side like, yo, check this out. She's cold. She's really cold.
No.
She don't do it anymore.
Don't
But
be modest, Ash.
she always do it. Like, bro, you used to hoop, you used to rap. Nothing to be embarrassed about. You don't do it anymore. Like you're retired. That's cool. To like go back to your old joints.
Well, that was the episode of.
Don't worry about it. Yeah. We let y'all to our world, but nonetheless, man, the street lights is coming on. So that means we got to get home. We've been playing outside. We've been talking about film. We've been talking about TV. We've been having a good time and laughing. Hopefully, y'all Wednesday is as wonderful as it has been for us. Hopefully, we've made that for y'all. Y'all got some great laughs, some great nostalgia, some great emotional moments. We've talked about Coach Carter today and our own perspective, and it's been a really good time, man. And next week, when y'all tune in, we'll be talking about so y'all go check that out. Maybe we'll start giving y'all what we can find it at so that y'all can get ahead and figure out where y'all can get it at. Mig G, what is
This is streaming on Paramount Plus.
Okay.
Mm.
And I'm going to see if there's somewhere else that is streaming. Paramount Plus is the only place that I see that it is streaming for free, unless you have premium subscriptions to YouTube, Hulu, Fubo TV, Sling TV, Amazon Prime, Apple TV is $3.99.
Okay, so that covers quite a vast, because somebody got one of these different ones, and
Mhm.
Paramount is going to cost you. But Paramount, shout out to them, they'll give you 30 days for free if you do the trial. Like I rock with them. But that is our episode, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. If y'all want to reach out to us, childishgrownups3@gmail.com, or y'all can hit us up on our Instagram page, Childish Grownups. I tend to post just nothing but nostalgia. So if you want to smile, laugh, go to our page right now. Thank y'all for listening. Peace out.